Shelves full of biographies of famous people. This bookstore is not strictly about. Several maps have the maps look old and faded. The north coast to the east, Revachol. You feel you're just west of Coal City.
I'm sorry, they're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. That old thing, from when some...
The place does not look like a city.
They didn't get that far, for some reason.
The north coast of Verdant to the east, Revachol. You feel you're just west of Coal City.
I'm sorry, officer. The map, they're quite valuable. Yes, yes. Are you interested or not?
The north coast to the east, Revachol. You feel you're just west of Coal City, somewhere above Jamrock and close to Coals. This large ozone disintegrate in the northeast. The ocean connections you have little, perhaps they are.
What have you found? And also, do buy the books. There may be goodness, you were already doing good, browsing the shelves. Why'd you stop? Truth be told, but you don't learn about the important things in life from fabricated stories. I provide the truth is available.
She smiles. Barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard. Why does it feel so familiar? No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat, and a whistle. It's just a memory.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. No one does until they get smashed under the bar. You're right. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore. Yes?
Looks like someone tried to reconceptualize their business here. Look, the skis and rotor blades both bear the same slipstream logo. It seems likely that they started out making one, failed to turn a profit, and then pivoted to producing the other. That's a good question. Reality is ruthless. This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart and a wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from the printer.
A radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open. It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling, disconnected. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment. Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. Nothing happens. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. Have you stirred the ghost of the doomed commercial area from its rest? Could this? The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a...
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Fortress Accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using has been registered to. One moment. Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games. That's what the catalog says.
That's not bad.
Any other questions? The filament you have inserted into the reader. That was a question. Have you inserted it into the core? Good. Please repeat the password.
Password? Of course it would have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved. You should ask her for a hint.
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder Fortress Accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password? Still no. Received. I will register this login attempt.
Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my...
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
They are merely cautious. It's my job to protect their filaments as a password repeater at the East Insulindian Station. I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian Repeater Station. It's my job to know where you are, Fortress Accident. As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios.
Doesn't it get lonely, sitting there all by herself?
Lonely? Why would it get lonely? I get to talk to people all day.
That's why she does this.
Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do. Good. Please repeat the password. Received.
Don't worry.
Fortress accident. Thank you.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. The speaker comes to life.
Good afternoon. Please repeat. Thank you.
Tiles on the cube, the filament slides out of its... This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly and strangely ancient. The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pesantic. History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Those aquarelle blue tiles looked beautiful in the sun. Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123.7, UKV 123.9. Some written notes, too. Sparse and cryptic. Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it wants. Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, all of this is gone, left unrealized. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this off.
My God, it's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. The schedule. I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. An echo from times long gone. No one has used the fireplace in ages. Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. Photos and drawings have been pinned to the board. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of welkins. You make out autumnal candle welkins casting wax-based magic. Translucent welkins with organs shining under their skin, and even ether Welkins, hailing from the vast emptiness of sidereal space. Who are all those creatures? Fantasies of a tortured, feverish mind? You should adopt one of those Welkins as your persona. One of the Welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however. It's Vara Hamira, a high Welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a Welkin supremacist. The note says, all non-Welkin races will be purged. The Haldor, the Twarg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with Welkin, Green Welkin, Dread Welkin, and the High Welkin to rule them all.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. Political commentary. That one has a great beard too. This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real. Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game. Just look at those details. So much effort.
And for what? Or the photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms, dead trees grown in under the snow. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm. Animal corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, boreal dvorg, yurts under the snow, great mammoth-like beasts of burden. pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario. A desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from its sun, drifting through the universe." This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money. Minimi stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years ago, but failed. As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield in the final days. Only failure and regret dwell in this region.
Looks like they didn't make it.
A note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament for details." The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans: "Call in, tune out," "Wirral untethered," and "Heat death of the universe."
Okay, what do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace? Yes, that is the question. It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games, only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers.
Utter madness, he thinks, as a compliment.
Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the Wirral board game, with heat death thrown in.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real immediately. This game is too good to be left unfinished.
Through call-in stations, none of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the game master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, functioning as a master of ceremonies of sorts. Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Graz, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry.
Not in Revachol West, among the ruins.
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just don't have the technology. No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard. Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... It's too late for that, I'm afraid. Okay, let's keep moving.
You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost and the bear's eyes are glowing red. The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy? The lieutenant doesn't answer. His eyes are glued to the animal. A sharp slice of light shines out from its mysterious belly door. A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun.
Of course, just a giant ice bear-shaped fridge. Let's take a look inside.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge. You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
The fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be catastrophic. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black. Looks like this furnace has a face, and it's a face of agony. It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice.
What are you doing? Wait, really? We should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
A lush layer of coal now covers your skin, sinking into the wrinkles. Your hands look ancient. You feel the spirit of Ramut Karzai, ancient hero of Grad, pulsing through you. All that's left is to cover your face in war paint. 3 dangerous stripes appear onto your cheeks, telling stories of your wild soul.
What are you doing? Please wipe your face clean, officer.
No, you're a proud warrior. Keep it. You can feel your cheeks turn red.
Thank you. So, where were we? Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney. No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats. You're right. The rooms do look like they're connected. But malignant entities don't exist. At least not the supernatural kind.
Always has to be the skeptic, this man. A hollow ring echoes through the furnace. Your toe hurts. Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Hello?
you've awakened the entity.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the 2nd floor. I'll open it.
After you, officer.
Bent metal, broken glass. Your path lies strewn with the broken forms of everyday objects. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter. Kudos. cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge, and the black one, something close to you, dies.
Why did you do that?
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. The electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now. Somewhere, a machine hums along with the current. The worn map features the patchwork grid. Your finger finally.
For more detail.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spots on its surface.
Does it say anything interesting?
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active. Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Sully Swaff.
Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property lying here. That's implausible. Really? You don't have a single guess? I'm placing my bets on a certain red-haired miscreant we met before. He'd probably try to pawn it for speed, based on our encounter.
Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP.
It belongs inside a radio computer, storing its memory. It's like a tape. I don't know. I assume it's some...
Didn't you see one right next to the breaker box? This orange machine is buzzing like an old, it's all gone now. You slip your, if you want to try again, then you need to have the pry bar in your hand.
Equip the pry bar by going to the Tools tab in your inventory. From there, you can equip it.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream. This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut. This orange machine is but the ice squeaks beneath the pry bar. You think you've got the bar jammed in there pretty. You see the pry bar's metal.
Yeah, well, that's a good pry bar. I'm not criticizing it, but this ice cream maker is frozen shut. It takes I have no idea, officer. Is ice...
Sooner or later, you will stumble upon a tool mighty enough. East Delta Commerce Center? This must be the name of the doomed commercial area.
Hello, I'm Nia. Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius. So what kind of die are you looking for?
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this. She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these. Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking. Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know, I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need.
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Answers? How strange. These days people only come to me for dice and role-playing games. I'm not sure how helpful I'll be, but go ahead and ask.
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shells like stalagmites. This person means you, or no one else, absolutely no harm. She will answer freely, no falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask...
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with a malignant... The lieutenant looks at his notebook. Then, the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window. It's an odd profession, making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home. I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness. It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone. Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard. During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging.
She's heard of the murder, but did not. She's not sorry to disappoint you. Informing on someone in a murder investigation would intrude upon her focused existence.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night.
She nods.
Anything else, officer? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask.
Creative.
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there. Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items. She's thankful for the security they provide her.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. I think I have just the right one for you.
Police colors.
You're a police officer, right? Here, catch.
A beautiful woman tossing you a gift. Whatever you do, don't overthink it. 2 tiny pieces of carved stone drop to the floor and scatter in opposite directions, like pearls from a broken string.
Down the drain, like your career. I apologize, officer. That comment was unnecessary. Right. I see that.
The dice maker coughs, her hands playing with her ring again. She doesn't say a word.
That one is made of bloodstone with a lapis lazuli inlay. The other one was the inverse. They were a set, you see, but now the set is broken. It's a shame. They might have brought you luck. You definitely need luck in Martinez.
Is she pitying you? Good God, she's
Now, was there anything else? I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow? The Seminese trinkets, of course.
But it doesn't. This is merely a sarcastic response.
All right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in racks? Some people say it's part of the building complex. You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the east of the Commerce Central project. And then there is me. I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
Is that what you think, officer? That the curse is real?
Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
Is it now? I've always thought it's a rather mundane and boring place with no supernatural surprises in sight. Well, if you ever find a way to explain all those inconsistencies in the curse, let me know.
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough and truthful. Plaisance is not going to like what you have to tell her.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime. Kuno. Who's Kuno? Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth. Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard. I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid. Kuno. Who's Kuno? Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth. Yes, I've heard him yelling. I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid. A kind man. From Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back. It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since. You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs. Anything else? Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
A bit of experimenting every now and then isn't bad.
You're right. It looks like you haven't let anyone near your hair in a long time.
She's right. When was the last time? You should get an unandrogynous crew cut.
Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milieux. Who would have guessed?
What's the snuff milieu?
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. It's a Sub Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Nothing changes in her tone as she says that, as if it's just another piece of information to lay out for the world.
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators. There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years until the insect rights activists came. Yeah, the atelier didn't know it either. They produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. At least it had some spark to it. Most young designers just combine lace with leather and call it original. Anything else? They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money. Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is. The usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait to get started on them just as soon as he returns.
Men like that are a curse.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around in the house. Not much use now, I guess.
They were just props. Why return them?
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
She liked them.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules. The usual, they ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
That's what I thought. Because when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep up new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic. And to show up to work on time.
She's right. Showing up to work on time is important.
Not the wisest decision. You would have lost all your savings.
The dice is black and filled with little...
Anything else? Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Indeed, what were the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Sounds like she really didn't like those girls.
Yeah, some people spend their whole lives chasing the hot one. You should have joined the gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the stand ready to scare off customers and hit on the girls. As if they didn't already have the bear. The bear. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Revachol Ice City lost the price war to its rival, Glace 5000. Glace 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. Maybe, because the taxidermist who made that bear definitely wasn't. Doing his best, I mean. He said that the bear was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. Called it Megatherion.
Sounds cool. Why is everyone doing drugs in this place? Even the taxidermist?
Megatherion, a mega wild beast. It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly. Do you? Well, good luck keeping it under control. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire. Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time. Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion. The one with an empty name card. It's the last one in the list. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work. The one with an empty name card. Sure, I'm listening. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
The 15th Indo tribe. Because there was. The 15th Indo tribe was comprised of 8 kids from Forberg and North Jamrock, running from wild dogs in the valley, hiding scents under rocks, and stealing clothes off clotheslines, and sometimes even the copper wiring of phone lines. You may have been one of them. This must be a childhood memory. The 15th Indo tribe was your Indo tribe, set to rule in Cylinder. The rest of the kids are dead now. Car accidents and drug overdoses. Only you remain. You see a
Happy shopping, officer. Everything. You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang. You're right, officer. 100%. No playing around then. Strictly business. Maybe I can interest you in some premium menswear instead. Everything's still cool here, officer. Everything's still cool here, officer.
No need to dress this one up. Just tell him what you want.
Oh, okay. But why, officer? Ah, yes. Lots of cops are.
Are you trying to ask for a bribe? If so, you're not doing a very good job.
Sorry, detective. Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs, unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs. That's so cool. You investigating the local drug trade like some cool narc? But I am not a lorry driver. I am just a street vendor. I don't...
A blatant lie, sire. Yet he tells it with such conviction. We'd believe him if we didn't know better.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. He's a hater.
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. I'm... Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream. Exactly! It's such a small part of my life. It's in the rear view mirror now. I'm climbing out of that hole with ingenuity. Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd.
And what crowd is that?
Crowd! You know, the drug crowd.
No, he wasn't talking about an abstract crowd. It was that crowd. He doesn't want to talk about them. He's afraid.
Look, there's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please don't get me into this mess. I've spent 15 years working my way up.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady. All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know. Are we cool now? I really want us to be cool now.
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The racist or the other one with the tattoos?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos. I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved. I told you.
It could be. She was strange. He's not ruling her out.
All right. I scored. Let's cap this off with a purchase. You can walk away from here with funky sunglasses, detectives. Both of you. You just...
No need to dress this one up. Just tell him what you want.
Oh, okay. Ah, yes. Money is very important.
Are you trying to ask for...
Sorry, detective.
What have you found? And also, do buy the books. A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom?
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. To hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire.
Oh, how horrid! I knew something wasn't right about that place. Tell me, did you find a way to break the curse? Guillaume le Million? The singer who made that awful face? Well, I do see the resemblance. All that matters is that the energies are retreating. I can already feel the curse lifting. It will be a long time until we're fully free of it, of course. Thank you, officer. Truly, you've brought a better psycho-emanation to this humble bookstore, and that's no small achievement.
She so badly wants this to be over. She would have believed anything. It will only last a day or two, a week tops. Then her mood will sour and she will feel...
All right then. All's well that ends well.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The smell is repulsive. It pushes in from your mouth. You feel a great force ringing from your stomach. Your body curls and pushes it out, burst by burst. Until a pool of vomit lies under your feet and your throat stings from the stomach acid.
Keep it. The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. There's the fruit nearby. Maybe they have some in their apothecary. If they don't... There's a greenhouse here, and a gardener with a wheelbarrow on the corner of the whirling in rags. If she were...
Pretty clever.
Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white...
The RCM in Martinez. What can I help you with? We don't see a lot of police around, of course. What can I... Sure, I'm done with it. Go easy on that stuff. It gave me a terrible headache. Of course.
Her gloves. You get the feeling that you need them. You have a...
Sure, keep...
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The ammonia only makes it worse. The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears.
Are you okay, officer?
The weight.
You're facing tough odds here. It's aggravated further by alcohol withdrawal. No. This is a two-man assignment. You need to get your shit together. Then the world will turn away from you and leave you behind. No, it's not, officer. No. You will get your shit together.
You're sure this isn't? For a moment, the hanged man appears to smile. His lips are red, like a clown's.
Bitch fight, see? Bitches are at it.
Bitches about to kill each other, I think.
We should go and do something else.
You've gained a thought. When this dialogue is over, go to your thought cabinet and internalize it for special bonuses and effects.
Hello, compatriot. You have something to discuss? I don't know what you're talking about. Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Revachol West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run anything.
No. He means la puta madre.
A legendary, and not in a good way, crime boss from Jamrock. Controls what is probably the most powerful organized. Looks like the lieutenant has a plan. Let him do this.
Yeah, him.
Then I presume you are familiar with his peonies.
Yeah, they're his little bitches. He's got them all over the unions.
Not just the unions. He has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. Dirty fucking peonies who'd do anything for him. Multi-ethnic drug addicts.
The lieutenant adopts a rodentine quality. Be cool, sire.
You're not peonies. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing if you were.
No, of course not. We are not peonies. But if we were, and one of Madre's drivers were to be stealing from him, then it's a good peony's job to find out who that is.
He's surprisingly good at this. Not bad at all. Look at him lurching.
It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. But a stupid fucking racist is standing in the way, protecting this fucking thief.
I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection of the Lorrymen and Carters Guild.
You've seen the corpse in the yard, yes? You took a peek. I know you did. Does it look like his friends protected him?
Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you...
The lieutenant turns and gives you a barely perceptible nod. I've softened him up as best I could. Now it's on you to finish the job. The main thing is to not overdo it, even when you're trying to scare someone. The most important thing is, how does it look on your resume? And, of course, what social sensibilities you're bringing to the table. Remain sensitive. People are watching.
What? What do you think we're doing right now, Runt? We're outside, talking. There's some kind of homo thing?
Okay, that's enough, detective. We'll just have to ask someone else about the lady driver. Let's go.
Is still hunched over the railing.
Huh? What is it? What do you want? Did you just call me a lady, Herife?
She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't repeat it. The woman's malevolent cackling fills the round.
I'm a lady like you are Gabriel Buenguerro. Only in dreams. I'm only terrifying to small children. And to those who used to know me.
Yeah, it's not her. Believe me.
Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was. How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around? When I have my Elysium.
Something in her is pulling towards some unknown.
We have a right to work!
Yes, people get that you are the law. You're...
Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down.
couldn't handle us. Cause gives the workers strength, gives them power. We have a right to work! Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence. Maybe you should ask them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here. Shame on you! We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scab.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. I'm trying to meet their fat boss. I know nothing about a murder.
The mention of a killing sends a barely noticed.
What are you talking about?
Yes, he's tense.
Right to work! It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a crime.
Why not? I see numerous reasons not to pick a side in this local matter.
Pity. Let us work! We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates. Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guards blocking the way to the access. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is. Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure they've done plenty of criminal shit.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home. At least...
No! They will give up eventually. Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interest. We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those who do want work.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were given a job to do!
You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you? No, don't think we've met before. I came to help out the people.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fight.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? We're done here. I have a strike to break.
Scab?
You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it...
Good one, officer. Don't worry. We here have solidarity with the RCM. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the Wild North? Come to see the strife? My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits. I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself.
If it's so simple, why did the scab leader warn you of the guards blocking the way?
Aye. Walk right past, then press the button, then go past him again, and you enter the arbor through the office. Está. Don't worry, or you could convert to his Seminoese supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is completely impossible. Not yet, no. Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scat. Sure. You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss and are on a better footing with the organization.
Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder. That's okay. I have no idea what I'm doing either. I don't even know what day it is. Don't tell me. It's a better day that way. Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. Probably not. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Much better here at the harbor, for an honest union man like me. Murder, huh? That sounds like... I don't believe you. Post L'Aventurier said the same thing. They tried to get me to be their postman. So fun, so easy, they said. It's just walking. It wasn't. I'm doing much better here at the harbor. Being an honest union man, you know.
He's a chatty guy.
Body betrays your degenerate.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his...
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, I'm Sandwich. You are not in danger, because you are not a threat to me. What is this androgynous display of sexual maturity?
Merely standing up makes you sweat profusely. You're breathing.
Stop it! You are embarrassing yourself in front of this woman and your This display of weakness may appeal to older women with a stronger maternal instinct, but it is a liability here on Battlefield Martinez.
Jean-Luc, his body is betraying his degeneracy pretty hard. Maybe you can ask him to leave.
You have succumbed to Al-Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerged.
It's not good.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here.
Show him the ham still got it. Does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
Look at my craniology. I am the pinnacle of my haplogroup. The pink blob is a bad example, even of yours. It saddens me. You were once an you gave the world eugenics. You don't. You will be.
It is, baby, yeah.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Enough with this begging. Bring your to wall.
There may be a peaceful solution to this. You could internalize Measurehead's race theory. He would take you as one of his own. The best idea. Ask what kind of races there are first. classification is core to this stuff.
Do you?
The lieutenant looks toward the harbor's electronic door, and then to you. He lets out.
You are obviously a liberal, sailor. There are 3 categories. Those of a receding genetic pool has led. You know the
Mahon is in some.
The mound of the Vesper, the other law overproduction, as proven by the mound and the Areopagites, the indigenous people of this. The Areopagites, the Latin.
Nature was not capable of more. The Koikos of Grad.
Yes, Inkness, the Koi.
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
The Revachol.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The revolution. Enough of Tibet mediocrity. Tips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic lesser the mesquite.
It seems unlikely that 2 human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
You are
the sage will not.
Then there is the Simino Koiki Kaimir. The Koiko. This but enough. It is you understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you need to internalize what you have heard here today. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have. Racist. I am not like them. Correct. There is nothing. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have.
There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden.
Mr. Claire is a man of vision. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individual jam. Of course, I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. What you need is to come to terms with.
I think this rate.
That will be the.
That is.
These cops are just jealous, Jean.
Anti-object task force. Behold, the anti-object task force has assembled. God's avenging angel, arrayed against the lower emanations of the darkened one. Shoe racks, tape recorders, motor carriages, and doors. So many doors. You're not just pounding it all to pieces. You're reforging the universe, from the anvil of the heavens to the worms below. Indulge in it. Be bold. Have an impact on the shape of creation. Out of the furnace of your rage, a new reality. Also,
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Hello, compatriot. You have something to discuss?
sturdy metal. This could be a way. The door rattles again. The door.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers in. The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No. Go check the
Backyard door. With the smoker. You.
Madame,
There is no reply.
Good. We had enough problems with bums.
You're well versed in the kind of threatening legalese that implies criminal liability. But in
I know my rights, and don't
Miss! What do you...
hold your horses. I don't care about your stink. Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I already told you I don't care about any badges. Go ahead.
She's the cleaning lady.
Yes, yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right? What's he in trouble for? Talk?
What was so funny about that?
He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the back.
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. It towered over the harbor until it happened. A great force from the tenement acted as a defensive wall against the waves of what didn't fall into the ocean. Those are only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. A fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Gra. They massed airships. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water. Coalition warship Archer can shoot 50 shells a minute on 20.
The coalition. But that was a long time ago. I think we should move on. It's chilly up here.
He does not like talking politics of this kind.
The piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves. Yes, Uncle Maynard. Huge trouble.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire
The lieutenant is the woman.
That is her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an.
On a first name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world. Have you got a crush on her? Aching for an opportunity to defend her honor?
Hello again, officers.
Ooh, not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner. It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all. Does anyone?
If there's pain about any particular home she's lost, she's buried it deep, fortified us.
Yes. I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens. Shoot, Piggy. It's what you do, isn't it?
You hear someone. You can feel tension on that. A poor communard.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant? I'm not.
Let's go. We don't have a reason.
It's generally a poor
Do you have a...
Let's go.
It's generally. This door has been closed. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. No reply. What are you doing? You need to get your tools out, man. That isn't just a five-pointed star. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mezov and the Communard. Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure. Because white is the color of peace. The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world, to symbolize the toppling of the old. Also, some social democrats were already using it. Gone is the glory of hope. You are the big communism builder now. This door is made of metal and a number 28.
Let's see if...
No one.
Looks like we should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Right.
Damn. Remember, tomorrow, he's...
Hello, compatriot. You have something to discuss?
Failing the last time was so demoralizing and puzzling that you just can't work up the rage anymore. A lorry stuck in the traffic. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with the driver as adorned the back end of a book.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in... Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
He was acting tough before. This definitely scared him a little. You being here.
Right to work! Right! Things are busy enough. You're going to waste less of my time?
The hulking man oozes stark skepticism.
Not before you get in there and get your ass whooped.
He might have some advice, but you got to at least try to fight Measure.
When a bunch beats me, they must.
Hello, compatriot. You have something to discuss?
Men like this only respect two things: strength and fear.
Fuck you, I told you.
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Look, fuck you, man. It's some lorry down there. Green, banged up thing. I don't fucking know who she is.
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. I haven't even seen her for days.
Now it's not a big deal for him anymore.
Past the monument, down there. The Green Temple. Now leave me the fuck up.
A small temple by the monument. Green. Let's get into that lorry.
Looks like he got his adrenaline up, too. A colourful display of cigarettes.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. Here you go, mister. Here you go, mister. Here you go, mister.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles.
Okay, here. Okay, here. Okay, here. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something. Okay, here. Okay, here. Okay, here. Okay, here. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something. Yeah, there's like an ampule somewhere.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look, hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in Sur-le-Clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum. This green faun, A to Z, contemporain, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days.
This must be the one he told us about, unless he was lying.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of the seat and two steering levers. The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced.
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside. I don't know how good it is, but this investigation has taken long enough. We can't afford it to take any longer.
Crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, Tutti Frutti. It smells faintly of apricots with a barely noticeable twinge of cinnamon. You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice derived from tree bark. Good question. There is no answer or secret phrase written on the inside of the wrapper. Yet you're drawn to it, drawn by regret. Stop before you hurt. Can a used wrapper shrug? Seems like that's what the wrapper is doing somehow. This is not about flowers or bark. What is this about? Why are you looking at this wrapper? You carefully fold the wrapper into a square before putting it back into your pocket, lovingly even. Well, hello. Some lights reflect. Wow, the gods of... There's a satisfying pop as the cap comes off, and the hair on your back rises like the golden sun melts down your throat. Its rays filling your nostrils with sunshine. Your stomach melts from it into a happy, gooey mess. So does your mind. All the bad things are melting. You're you again. A real cop. A real...
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's an alcohol button. Alcohol gives +1 to physique skills. Physical instrument, half light, electrochemistry, endurance, pain threshold, and shivers. This is good before rolling a white check, but damages your morale. And remember,
from the void we came, and to the void we must return. This screen found A to Z, Contemporain, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days. This screen found A to Z. Goddamn maggot. Looks like the window might be shatterproof. You may have to rethink your approach. Another futile thunk sounds in the...
This has been hard enough. No need to make it any harder.
He smashes it into the window. Droplets of glass fly everywhere, shattering over the lorry floor and paved. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put your finger on who. This is Tip Tijon, a starlet from the dawn of cinematography, less known for her talent than her tragic, untimely death. She wasted away in a drug den called The Door to the River, not far from here on Boogie Street, a mixture of cocaine and morphine. She was afraid of the world, and the camera, too. The actresses and the rear actor all smile you. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation, with quite a range too. Doesn't look like it. It's complete.
The smell of 1,000. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper? A novel technique?
The movie stars are still smiling. The metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's an issue of Peripherique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematics.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
The pull-out toolkit slides back into its nest. The rest is as it was. Radio, posters, a trace of motor oil smell. You wedge yourself on but one sandpaper ad. The movie stars are. Looks like.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here.
The smell of you close the rust.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep. Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net.
This means it's well-funded. Technology like that, a major player must be financing it.
I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Yes, well...
unimportant.
We didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. But somehow, I doubt that Everard Clare would be oblivious to something like this happening right under his nose. My suggestion is, we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery hill, but we just might be able to pin them down, indirectly, down the road. We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause, an investigation I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome. All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. Debrief over, after you. Yes? Me? I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation. Ah, if you insist. What do you want to know? What do you mean? I have no idea.
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be right. The lieutenant is a police officer of the old school. His concerns are material, but this isn't an old school case.
So what? That makes you the new school? God spare us. For real detective work, nothing beats a good notebook by your side.
The lieutenant produces his small blue notebook and idly thumbs through a few pages. That's where his conversations with himself take place. We all have our different mediums. You're super lucid, yet psychedelic. You don't need office supplies to connect to your nervous system.
That's correct.
That makes him a binoclard. Completely uncopped material, if you say so yourself.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome.
You could use a good, normal peer yourself.
That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic. It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity and a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting.
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolari state west of the Insulindian Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say mysterious.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents, and I've never been to Seoul. I'm a regular Revacholier.
A point of pride to him. He's glad to have shut down your question.
No.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. The eyebrow is exercising psionic control over you.
Something the matter?
This guy's got authority off the nothing. You better hope he doesn't abuse his authority. There's a lot of it. If the lieutenant were an evil man, who knows what sort of... Fortunately, he is a committed officer of the RCM. The lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of yourself.
Good. Let's change the subject. Excuse me? Frankly, detective, you are in a deranged state. I can't let you proceed without close supervision. In fact, under normal circumstances, I'd be duty-bound to report you. Take it as a token of good faith.
The lieutenant thinks you're some unaccountable wreck who needs constant supervision. The RCM, or the Revachol Citizen Militia, is the police force you and him are part of. A self-organized peace corps of the occupied city of Revachol. The RCM operates within a legal twilight, yet its authority is rarely questioned.
Some you time? This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery. You'll still have your evenings to yourself. Who might? It's important not to let one style interfere with the work.
The lieutenant is pretty sure style is just a euphemism, is it not?
What do you want to know? Maybe you can... Then you are not that far behind, actually. 3 days ago, during that time, a security, they didn't identify... There's a strong prejudice, that's right. You mean like a brief? There's no... 3 days ago, during that time. Okay, then. No. The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that. I can assure you nothing of that will happen. Do you know? No. Something isn't.
So desperate. There's something the lieutenant isn't seeing. The universe is too irrational.
I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a...
His disdain.
You don't know. I assumed you were in. That's good. It's just stupidity. We shouldn't waste any more time on it. If you want my take, ask me after we've inspected the victim. Later. Good.
What if you did it? Yes, you killed him. And then, as part of the plan, you drowned out. Maybe this is why your chest feels so hollow. You did an awful thing. And you can't even bring yourself to it. Are you sure you would have the strength to take down a hardened mercenary? You're not in the best shape.
And what has led you to this conclusion? Well, we've yet to find any real evidence pointing to you in this case, or even a possible... Besides, I doubt you could have taken down a hardened mercenary single...
See? You're clearly not a man in your prime anymore.
Don't take it personally. It's just that security guards kept on by large corporations tend to be better trained and better armed than officers of the RC. I find that highly unlikely. It's not unusual for detectives to feel complicit in a crime.
No response. He's having trouble processing it.
Have you tried concentrating on something else?
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
Not a fan. It's just the nature of lieutenancy.
The RCM deploys a self-styled structure called the Decomptage as its chain of command. Every lieutenant is responsible for 2 sergeants and 8 officers. That means the average lieutenant has to deal with quite a few personal affairs. Even you know this.
Try work. The case at hand. It can work me. Fine. We should get through this day first. Off hours begin at 9 p.m. If you're still having trouble then, I can give you... Really? You look fine to me. This psychodrama is unbecoming of an officer.
Clearly, he prefers to think you're malingering. He cannot fathom that anyone could drink so much as to retroactively erase their entire life.
Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema to call your station's Lazareth. What do you want to know? Good.
I saw you poking around in Lady Driver's lorry. She in trouble? Nah, man. I was telling you the truth. I really didn't think it'd be her. She's okay. Sort of troubled, but still, a nice person.
So that's what that emotion was before. It was wishful thinking.
What else do you know about her?
Nothing. We just talked a bit. About life and stuff. She left me a key so I can park a lawyer if the jam broke. So, she in trouble or what? Oh man, that's like a load off my mind. All that stress was messing up my rhymes.
He chooses to believe what's best for her.
Oh, you know. Tommy Leham's gonna be a musician. Sprechgesang, but with beats. I've got a lot of free time on the road to hone my craft.
The correct grammar is Tommy Lahom.
Tommy Lahm was taken. My real name's Jerry Lafitte. Tommy's way better.
It's more him. The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
It's raining again. It was clear just an hour. Of course. Where to? No problem. I'm a nighthawk. What can I say?
Odd. There's a little meanness in that smile.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to...
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands. Yes, I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Revachol West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate... Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the union.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenel, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban...
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant union members to... He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this...
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants. It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project...
The Debarder have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath. Too many things have already gone wrong. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep that which is not from following suit. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell. They boast a long list of clients: Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eendracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes, all the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is charged with coordinating law enforcement activities in complex multinational investigations. Their database is the single largest source of information in the world.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I would be dealing with a group like Crenell. I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. The remaining contractors, their tribunal, it's what they believe. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook. His
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it...
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor.
You'll meet her soon enough, you feel.
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes, but I did not know him. Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's fate.
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality?
He was 40 or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age or gauge his facial expressions.
What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes, ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Did you miss the part about ceramic armor and automatic weapon?
That is a bad idea. One I won't be a party to.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbour gates. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg.
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
Would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel. I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is...
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint. So cool. From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop, Dick Mullen, Salam Rocky Baye, badass on-the-edge disco cop. Time to recede into a ludicrous fantasy world. Here we go. Camera, lights. With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you along with it. In an iconic monochrome solution, a black silhouette against a rasterized orange world. It's on.
You're back. Good.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. You certainly have been avoiding it.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here, because this is no ordinary wall. It is sublime. Look at it. The shadows, the colors. All the other walls on all the other houses must make a pilgrimage in adoration of this, the uncontested pinnacle of wallcraft, color peeled from the very face of God. O Wall Father, he sounds tired of. Cindy the Skull has all the necessary materials. Talk to her.
If you must.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
What for? But boring. You're not using my lovely brush to spread boredom. I ain't helping no pigs fool honest, upstanding citizens. What do you think I'm trying to paint here? A mural for a better tomorrow? Why do you really need it? Well, if it's for art. But what kind of art are we talking about? Sounds like you're just about to live out your self-pity, not make a statement. I can't have shit art on my conscience. Yeah, not gonna hold my breath, Piggy. You look like you'd suck at everything, really.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
I ain't no
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant. Oh, not only have it doesn't.
The inspiration will come to her.
Yes. Shoot, Piggy. It's what you do, isn't it?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? It will take...
Her voice.
Oh!
Was that a snarl or a suppressed groan? No love for you here.
Firewalker? Oh, yes, you are. Just don't breathe in the general direction of your fire feet. Do exactly that.
It would be an artistic statement of some kind or another.
Sounds more like a newspaper headline that will surprise absolutely no one. What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things really are across the board? You want another rundown of everything collapsing inside your body? You want the real... And no, I don't want to hear a political comment.
It's not fucking cryo-actylate.
Cyanoacrylate is superglue.
And you survived it. Congratulations. Even better.
Accept it. The body...
With all the...
There is no support.
What else?
It's hard to say.
Anything else I can help you with, officer? Just a sec. Sylvie Malak. Yes. Hello. Oh, great. What else do you need, detective?
You hear the call.
Anything else I can help you with, 57?
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on